He had announced that they were looking at a transportation package, and then we were delighted to see him roll one out. I think it's important that a package be put out there so that we can plan for the future. One thing that he did was he said that there would be $1 billion transportation bond put forward. The other thing is new funding makeup for 2015. In Virginia, they abandoned a lot of the excise tax a couple of years ago and basically went to a sales tax across the board to fund highways. One of the new guys with Secretary Tata over at Transportation is from Virginia, and I've got just an inkling that might be something that he's pushing over there, which could bring us some relief at the pump on the tax side. The other thing is we might need to look at the proposals on the drafting board at DOT. Do we really need everything that DOT is asking for? You got to think about that. We've got places where they're building bypasses around bypasses now because they've allowed bypasses to choke up. If you don't have a beach house at Emerald Isle, do you really care if anybody sits in traffic 15 more minutes around Goldsboro? I think a lot of people are going to start asking that question, to be honest with you. The other alternative looks we've seen are vehicle miles traveled. That was tried or is being looked at on the West Coast. People don't like to go in to have their car inspected and be handed a $400 bill because they went over 12,000 miles on their car. So I don't think that that's something that people are going to like. I do think that we need to tax alternative fuel vehicles the same way we do excise tax on traditional fuels. If electronic cars roll on the road, by God, they ought to pay the same tax that you do when you fill up with gasoline. I don't think they should have tax incentives. They should compete just like any other industry competes head to head. Also, another thing, and I don't know that this is popular, there are a lot of exempt uses of fuel that we see in our industry. Farm use fuel, a lot of that fuel pays no tax at all, even though a lot of that product comes back on the road. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's one thing that we talked about is the possibility of looking at cutting out some of the exemptions to be able to look at it. The other thing is tolls. North Carolinians, in my opinion, traditionally do not like tolls. We've never had them. Everybody that has ever driven around Richmond 2 decades ago hated going through the toll booths, even though it was only a quarter. And I think what you're going to see is that what our boards say is kind of the position our board's taking is if you're going to toll something, it needs to be a new road, not an existing road. I know they're looking at tolling 95. Our opinion is when you start doing that, you pick winners and losers in business on where you put entrance and exit gantries, things like that.